Any reproduction of this training video, in part or in whole, is unlawful and strictly prohibited without the prior written consent of ViaGrafix Corporation. Included with your videotape is a course index. This contains reference numbers which will allow you to quickly access sections and topics with ease. In order to use this, you should reset the counter on your VCR to 0 now.
The Teach Yourself series from ViaGrafix, designed to teach you to use your computer the fast and easy way.
I'm Colin Lucina along with Julie Clemens.
Outlook97 is a new application from Microsoft that enhances Microsoft Mail, Exchange Client, and Schedule Plus products.
Outlook97 provides us with the latest version of these applications in addition to combining capabilities such as electronic mail, calendar and group scheduling, contacts and tasks, and browsing and sharing documents.
Organizing a busy day-to-day life can sometimes be difficult, but using Outlook97's scheduling capabilities makes planning our calendar easy.
Scheduling with Outlook97 is simple using the management tools that help us keep track of appointments, meetings and events, as well as important tasks and even contact information.
In this video, we will cover the basics of Outlook97, examine the Outlook window, and discuss some of its characteristics. Then we'll explain some of Outlook's different application areas.
Next, we'll learn about appointments, the calendar and the date navigator. We'll work with a sample calendar file and learn to schedule new appointments. We'll also learn about reminders.
Then we'll work with tasks and the task pad. We'll discuss recurring tasks, then copy a task from the task pad to the appointment book. Next, we'll work with events, learning how to insert a new event and talk about new annual events and the appointment book.
We'll use the Contact and New Contact button. We'll discuss some of the options in the Meeting Planner section and learn to schedule a meeting using Meeting Request.
Finally, we'll learn to customize the default settings calendar, examine printing options, and how to quit the Outlook97 program. We have already installed the Microsoft Outlook 97 program, and since it is designed to run in the Windows 95 environment, we assume that you have the basic knowledge and are familiar with the fundamentals of Windows 95 operating system. However, if you feel the need to review, please refer to our Learning Windows 95 tutorials.
In addition, we have also provided a learning disk with sample files that will be referred to throughout this video tutorial and can only be used within the application. If you would like to try the following exercises with us, please install the ViaGrafix learning disk into your computer's hard drive using the following commands.
Place the learning disk in the proper drive. Ours is A. Click on the Start button and select Run from the Start menu. In the command line, we type a:/vialearn.exe and click OK. Next, we click the Install button and click OK to accept the default directory. A window appears showing the installation progress, and we choose OK at the successfully copied prompt. The ViaGrafix Learning folder now appears on the C drive, and we are returned to the Windows 95 desktop.
Now let's begin learning about Schedule Plus and Outlook97.
To open the Outlook97 program, we'll click on the Start button from the Windows 95 taskbar. Then through the program's flyout menu, we'll click the Microsoft Outlook icon. The Choose Profile dialog box appears. When we install Outlook, the Setup program looks for our user profile. If we don't have a user profile, the Setup program creates one for us. A user profile is a group of settings that defines how we are set up to work with Outlook. For example, Our user profile may specify that we send and receive messages with our internet connection, or that we don't use email at all and have a personal folder file. To send, store, and receive messages and Outlook items, and to specify where to store our Outlook information, we use a group of settings called an information service. The Microsoft Network Online Service, Personal Folders, and Microsoft Exchange Server are all examples of information services. If we plan to use email features in Outlook, we must add the appropriate information service to our user profile. If we don't plan to use email, or if we have an existing user profile with the information service and settings recommended by our administrator, we can get started right away. We can add or remove an information service for email at any time. We'll click OK to accept our user profile, and the Outlook97 program opens. On the left side of our screen, we see the Outlook bar. The Outlook bar allows us to quickly open our favorite or most frequently used folders. For example, if we click the Calendar shortcut, we see the Calendar section of Outlook97. Let's take a look at the rest of the shortcut icons in the Outlook bar. The first shortcut we see is the Inbox. The Inbox icon gives us the capability of sending and receiving messages from the office, home, or the road. Next is the Calendar icon, which provides the convenience of our schedule book with the Date Navigator and Task Pad. The Contacts icon is a shortcut to our business and personal address book. We can view and sort contacts any way we want. The Task icon is our business and personal to-do list. We can quickly prioritize our tasks and assign tasks to others. With Journal, we can keep track of the history of any activity we want recorded on a timeline. The Notes icon is an electronic equivalent of a sticky notepad. The Outlook97 bar is divided into groups. This helps organize our information. For example, let's click the Mail group. We now see a different set of shortcuts. These shortcuts let us access folders for electronic mail in Outlook. Let's click the Outlook group and return to the Outlook shortcuts. Next to the Outlook bar is the folder list. To see all of our folders in Outlook at any time, click the folder list icon. It's the fifth button from the left. Clicking the folder list icon will remove or hide the list. We can also display the folder list by clicking the title of the open folder in the folder banner above the folder list. Next to the folder list is the Information Viewer. The items in the selected folder are displayed in the Information Viewer. To change the way information is displayed, we can add and remove columns, as well as sort, group, and filter items. We can also select a different view in the Current View box. We click the drop-down arrow and then choose a different view from the list that appears. Within the Information Viewer, we have items. Outlook is organized around types of items such as our mail messages, appointments, contacts, journal entries, tasks, and notes. To create an item, we open the File menu, and then through the New section, we click the type of item we want to create. To help us keep items organized, items are stored by type. For example, all mail messages are stored in the Inbox folder, and all tasks are stored in the Task folder. Folders that contain Outlook items are stored together in a single Outlook file so we can quickly find, categorize, and archive those items. Let's close the file menus by pressing Escape twice.
You may pause the tape now to practice on your computer.
Let's review what we have covered in this chapter.
We've learned about the basics of Outlook97. We examined the Outlook window and discussed some of its characteristics.
We also discussed the different areas of the Outlook97 program, such as the Outlook bar and the shortcuts within the Outlook bar.
The Schedule Plus program was designed to help the user organize and manage time more efficiently for their home or office.
In this chapter, we'll continue learning about scheduling with Outlook97 while covering a main topic of the program, appointments. To work with appointments, we click Calendar on the Outlook bar. Let's hide the folder list to get a bigger and better view of our calendar items. We click the folder list icon and the folder list is hidden. To the right of the Outlook bar is our appointment area. In the upper right of the calendar appointment window is the Date Navigator. This calendar displays the current month and year along with the current date, which is highlighted with a blue background. The Date Navigator is used to move the appointment book to a different day of the month, or even a different month altogether. To change our appointment book to a different day, we simply click the date we want to see with the mouse pointer. When the new date is selected, notice that the highlighted day is changed and that the appointment book is automatically moved. The arrow buttons on the top sides of the Date Navigator are used to move backward or forward month by month. The Go To Today is the sixth button from the right. When we click on this function with the mouse pointer, the appointment book is automatically returned to the present day.
Scheduling with Outlook97 allows a user to choose from a variety of different views depending on the type of work being done.
In this section, we'll use the current view list to change the appearance of our appointment book and learn to customize the view options to better suit our working needs. Beside the Go To Today button is the Current View drop-down menu. This menu lists the different views available to us. The current view, day, week, month, is the default setting and is automatically displayed the first time a schedule file is used. Each of these views consists of various arrangements of one or more of the Schedule Plus elements. For example, the day, week, and month view that we have used so far contains the appointment book, the Date Navigator, and the task pad list. Each of these elements is shown in a different area and is separated by split bars. If we want to resize the different areas, we simply drag the split bars to a new location. The amount of the information shown in each area will depend on the position of the split bars. To change to a different view, we can click on any of the 4 calendar buttons. We've already clicked the Go To Today button. Let's click the Week button. It's the 4th button from the right. When we select the Week button, the calendar window changes to show the appointment book, divided into a 5-day work week plus 2 weekend days. Next, we'll click on the Month button. It's the 3rd button from the right. This shows a calendar for the entire month. In the next section, we'll learn how to use the appointment book.
The appointment book provides a fast and easy way to view appointments by the day, week, month, or even year.
To assist with this exercise, we'll retrieve a sample calendar file from the ViaGrafix Learning Files folder. From the File menu, we select Import and Export. We now see the Import and Export wizard. We choose the import from a personal folder file and click Next. Using the Browse button, we locate our ViaGrafix Learning Files folder on the C drive and double-click the calendar.pst file. We click Next, and in the Select folder to import from Box, we click on Calendar. We click Finish, and the calendar file is imported into Outlook97. The new calendar file appears on the screen, and we click the Day button. Notice that the time slots of the appointment book appear in 30-minute increments, and the non-work hours are slightly shaded. Now, using the Date Navigator, let's move the appointment book to January 1997, and then select Monday, January 6th with the mouse pointer. To get a better view of the entire work week, we click on the Week button. Notice that our file already has an appointment set for Wednesday, which is shown by the appointment book. In the calendar, we can drag the appointment to a different date, or even click the description text and enter changes to edit the subject. There are several convenient ways to schedule an appointment. First, let's click on the day we want the appointment to be set for. We'll click on Wednesday, January 1st. One way to schedule an appointment is to click on the New Appointment button from the toolbar. It's the first button from the left. The shortcut keystroke combination for this command is Ctrl+N. The appointment dialog box appears, which will guide us through the variety of available options. With the appointment tab selected, we see there are several options to choose from. In the subject field, we'll type the description that we want to appear in the time slot on the appointment book. Let's type Meeting with Jim Hayward. Below the subject field is the location field. Here we'll type the location of the appointment, which is the conference room. Below the subject and location fields are the start and end fields. With these fields, we are able to choose the start and end time of the appointment. We'll leave the date for the first, since this is the day we want the appointment to be set on. For the start time, let's use the arrow keys to select 9 a.m. Then for end, we'll use 10:30 a.m. If we wanted to schedule an appointment for all day, which is the hours from midnight to midnight, we could select the all-day event checkbox. Also, in the Appointment tab, we can set a reminder or set an appointment as private or as tentative. The reminder is activated with its default setting of 15 minutes. However, we can use the arrow buttons to change how long before the appointment we want the reminder to appear. We can also make Outlook use an audio reminder. We simply click the small speaker button to the right of the reminder option. The reminder sound dialog box appears with the location of the WAV file used as the audio reminder. We can use this WAV file or one of our own choosing. We'll use this file, so we click on OK. If we click on the drop-down arrow in the Show Time as field, we can choose the tentative option. This will keep the appointment from appearing as a busy time on the planner. By clicking the private option, we can prevent other network users from being able to see the appointment description. At the bottom of the appointment dialog box, we see a white area for any notes we wish to jot down. The other tab in the appointment dialog box is the Meeting Planner tab. This tab is used to set up a meeting. To set the appointment, we'll click on the Save and Close button, and the new appointment will now appear on the appointment book. In the calendar, we can also create an appointment by selecting a block of time, right-clicking, and then choosing New Appointment on the shortcut menu. However, notice that we mistakenly placed the appointment on a holiday. We won't be at work on this day, so we want to move the appointment to Friday. First, let's click the Week button. Now we click on the appointment and then drag and drop the appointment to the following Friday.
If we have an appointment that occurs on a regular basis, such as a weekly meeting, we can designate it as recurring.
When we schedule an appointment as recurring, we only have to enter it once. Scheduling with Outlook97 will automatically enter all of the future occurrences for us. Let's open the Calendar menu and then choose New Recurring Appointment to access the Appointment Recurrence dialog box. At the top of the dialog box, we see the Appointment Time section. Here we can select the time of the reoccurring appointment. We'll set the appointment to start at 3 o'clock p.m. and to end at 4 o'clock p.m. Notice that the duration field changed accordingly. Below the appointment time section, we see the reoccurrence pattern section. In this area, we can select when to repeat the appointment and the time interval at which the appointment repeats. First, we'll select monthly. Notice that the options just to the right change to reflect the new options. If the meeting were on particular days each month, we would use the top row to select how many days. However, our meeting is on a specific day. It is on the first Thursday every 3 months. We'll click the second option circle and make the necessary changes. In the range of recurrence section, we can first select the start of the recurring appointment. We'll click the drop-down arrow here to display the date navigator. Now we'll move the calendar to February 1997 and select the 7th. We can also specify how many occurrences this will pass before the recurring appointment ends. We can even specify an ending date or have the recurrence to never have an end date. We'll click the End By option and leave it as its default. Finally, to set the appointment, we click on the OK button. At the Recurring Appointment dialog box, we'll enter a subject. We type Employee Evaluations. And in the location field, we'll type Mr. Fowler's office. Next, we'll select the private option, then click on the Save and Close button. With our date navigator, we'll scroll the calendar to the first Friday in May. We can see that the appointment is placed on the first Friday every 3 months, starting in February. The final way to insert an appointment is to simply type the appointment information into the appropriate box. Let's return to the month of January and click on Monday the 13th. With the mouse pointer, we'll select the 10 o'clock a.m. time slot. To select more than a 30-minute section, we can drag the highlighted area with the mouse pointer. Let's choose the hour from 10 o'clock a.m. to 11 o'clock a.m. for our appointment. Now we'll start typing. We'll type Production Meeting, then click outside of the box to set the appointment. All of the default features, such as a reminder which is indicated by the bell, will automatically appear. When an appointment reminder appears, it displays the time and date of the appointment in the title bar, as well as the description in the main body. To respond to the reminder, we can choose either Dismiss or Postpone. If we click the Postpone button, we will be reminded again in 5 minutes or whatever time we change to. If we choose Dismiss, the appointment will be canceled.
You may pause the tape now.
Let's review what we have covered in this chapter. We began learning about appointments.
We used the calendar and demonstrated how to use the date navigator. We also examined the current view list options.
We worked with a sample calendar file and scheduled a new appointment. We learned how to set reminders and finally discussed recurring appointments. The Tasks feature is used to manage and track activities that are associated with specific dates, but not with specific times.
The entire task pad appears by clicking on the task icon on the Outlook bar, or we can view the active task pad, which corresponds only to a particular day, by looking underneath the date navigator.
Below the date navigator is the active task pad. This area is used to display the tasks and projects that need to be accomplished on this day. Let's import another learning file. From the File menu, we'll select Import and Export. We now see the Import and Export wizard. We choose the Import from a personal folder file and click Next. Using the Browse button, we locate our ViaGrafix Learning Files folder and double-click the TaskPad.pst file. We click Next, and in the Select the Folder to Import from box, we click on Tasks. We click Finish, and the TaskPad file is imported into Outlook97. To see the complete TaskPad, we'll click the task icon on the Outlook bar. The TaskPad is displayed as a grid with column headings across the top corresponding to the boxes in the Task dialog box. Notice we have several tasks to be completed: making bank deposits, mowing the lawn, and paying bills. To insert a new task, let's click on the Task button from the toolbar, or use the shortcut keystroke combination, which is Ctrl+N. In the Task dialog box, we can set a variety of options for our new task. With the Task tab activated, we want to type a subject to appear for the task in the TaskPad list. Let's type Pick Up Laundry. Below the subject field is the due date options. These options allow us to indicate when a task is due to start and when it actually starts. We click the drop-down arrow beside the due field. When the date navigator appears, we'll choose Monday the 23rd. Next, we must select the start date for the task. We'll begin the active range 1 week before the end date. Underneath the due date section, we can select a priority for our task. We'll leave this feature on normal, which is the default setting. In addition, we can also set a reminder for the task and even an audio reminder. We'll deselect the reminder option for this demonstration. Let's reposition the dialog box so we can see the Categories button at the bottom of the box. This is where we'll enter the category that we want to associate our new task with. We can either select an already existing category from the list or create a new category name. Let's select Personal and click OK. The Status tab is used to enter more information about the condition of the task, such as the date completed and the total and actual work, as well as the contact and billing information. We'll make no changes to any of these options. Instead, let's click on Save and Close to create the new task. To quickly copy a task, click the task and then hold down Ctrl and drag the task to another place in the task list. Let's click the drop-down arrow beside the Current View field and scroll the list and choose by Category View. We now see a different view of the task pad. To see the task in this view, we need to click the plus button that corresponds to the task category. We click the plus button next to the Personal category. Notice the Pick Up Laundry task is placed under the project Personal, and the information we entered is listed in the task pad grid. Finally, when a task such as picking up the laundry is complete, we can mark it off the task pad list by right-clicking on the task and choosing the Mark Complete command from the shortcut menu that appears. A check mark and a line which runs through the text will then mark the task.
If we have to create the same task on a regular basis, such as a weekly progress report, we can set it up as a recurring task.
When we set a task as recurring, scheduling with Outlook97 will automatically place all future occurrences of the task in the task pad list for us. From the Task menu, we'll select the New Task. From the New Task dialog box, we click the Recurrence button. The Task Recurrence dialog box appears. This box is similar to the Appointment Recurrence dialog box. In the Recurrence Pattern section, we'll select the occurrence of the recurring task. Let's leave Weekly selected and then set the day of the week for Friday. In the Range of Reoccurrence section, let's set the duration to 2 weeks before the end date. Let's click the drop-down arrow beside the End By option. At the Date Navigator window, we'll click Friday, February the 7th. We'll click OK and enter a subject in the subject field. We'll type Weekly Progress Report. Now let's create a new category name. We place an insertion point in the category field and type Work. Now let's click the Save and Close button. Notice that the category Work now appears on the task pad list. We click the plus sign button to see the Weekly Progress Report task.
Another important feature of scheduling with Outlook97 is the ability to copy a task directly from the task pad list into the appointment book.
Let's select the calendar icon, which holds our appointment book and the active task pad list. Then, using the Date Navigator, we'll move the appointment book date to Friday, December 20th. Now, to set the appointment, we'll click the time slot from 3 o'clock p.m. to 4 o'clock p.m. with the mouse pointer. Then we'll click and drag the Weekly Progress Report in the task pad list to the selected time slot in our appointment book. The appointment dialog box will appear and we can add any additional information that is needed. When finished, we'll click on the Save and Close button and the task is placed in the appointment book.
You may pause the tape now.
In the next section, we'll learn to filter, group, and sort our task. Let's return to the main task pad. We click the task pad icon. We're going to begin learning about filters. A filter is an easy way to view only those items or files that meet conditions we specify. Tasks can be filtered in a variety of ways. To apply or change the filter, we open the View menu and select Filter. In the Filter dialog box, we have several options to work with. With the Task tab activated, we can apply a filter for words that we specify in the Search for the Word field. The End field allows us to click the field or field set we want to search. The more fields we specify, the longer the search will take. For the broadest search, click Frequently Used Text Fields. The From button allows us to search from our list of email names. The Send To button lets us find all task requests we have sent to the person whose name we enter here. The Time field locates tasks based on the time criteria we select. For example, we can set a filter to find all of the tasks due this week. We would click Due in the first box and This Week in the second box. Let's click the More Choices tab. Now let's click the Categories button. In the category list that appears, let's click Personal. We click OK, then OK again. Now notice that the only tasks we see are the ones under Personal category. Also notice that in the taskbar at the top, we see Filter Applied in parentheses. To take off the filter, we simply repeat the steps we have just performed. We open the View menu and choose Filter. From the Filter dialog box, we click the More Choices tab. Now we click the Category button and deselect Personal. We click OK twice. Another way to organize our TaskPad list is to group the task in an outline format. From the View menu, we'll select Group By, and the Group By dialog box will appear. Here we can select up to 3 properties by which our TaskPad list is divided. The first section, Group Items By, is currently set on Categories. To display all of the available properties, we can click on the down arrow button. Let's leave this setting on Categories. Beside the Item field are the ascending and descending options. When the ascending is selected, the list is placed in alphabetical order, or with the earliest date or the lowest value at the top of the screen. Descending, on the other hand, is exactly the opposite. When descending is selected, the list is placed in reverse alphabetical order, or with the most recent date or highest value at the top. Let's leave this setting on ascending. In the First Then By box, we'll use the down arrow button and scroll to Select Priority. We'll leave descending selected to display the highest priority first. Next, in the Second Then By box, we'll select Start Date and select the ascending option. In the Third Then By box, we select Due Date and the descending option. When we click on OK, notice that our TaskPad list is changed to represent the new group headings we created. We now see the group names with each one preceded by an Expand and Collapse button. By clicking on these buttons, we can display or hide the tasks that appear in that group. For example, let's click the Expand button beside the Personal category. We see that we have another group name with an Expand and Collapse button. We click it and now see Start Dates. Remember, we use Start Date as one of the conditions in the Group By dialog box. If we click on the Collapse button here, we'll see a Due Date condition. Finally, we click on the Collapse button beside Due Date, and we see the task associated with the conditions we specified.
While grouping a TaskPad list, keep in mind that if a filter is applied, only those tasks that meet the conditions and requirements of the filter will be displayed.
And if no group is selected, the tasks are arranged according to the order in which they are entered. Sorting the TaskPad list is another way to specify how we want to view our information. If a sort is applied, it is performed within the group setting. To make any changes, we open the View menu and select Sort. In the Sort dialog box, we can choose the properties by which our taskpad columns are divided. We can even select whether they are listed in ascending or descending order. However, let's leave the current settings as they are and click on the OK button to return to the taskpad list.
You may pause the tape now.
Let's review what we have covered in this chapter.
We learned how to insert a new task into the taskpad list using New Task button and the Task dialog box.
Then we learned how to mark a task as complete.
We learned how to insert a recurring task from the task menu.
We learned how to copy a task directly from the taskpad list to the appointment book. And finally, we learned how to change the appearance of the taskpad list using the filter, group, and sort features. The Events feature helps us keep track of special days and activities that are associated with a specific day, but not with a specific time.
An event can be anything from a birthday or wedding anniversary to a special holiday or business conference.
We'll select the calendar icon and click Wednesday, December 25th. Notice that at the top of the appointment book, under the event symbol, we see the first line of the event description. It reads, Christmas, office closed. If several events were attached to this date, a down arrow button would appear on the right side of the events box, allowing us access to the rest of the list. Also, notice that the event does not occupy a specific block of time inside the appointment book. To create a new event, we'll open the Calendar menu, then choose New Event. At the top of the Events dialog box are the subject and location fields. In the subject field, we can enter the information we want to appear on the appointment book. Let's type Sales Conference. We'll leave the location field blank. Below these fields, we see Event Start and End Times. If we know this specific date, we can enter it directly. Or we can click on the down arrow button to view the Date Navigator calendar. Let's select Friday, December 27th. An event can be placed on any day of the year, or it can be designated to last for several consecutive days. To demonstrate, let's set the Date Ends box for Tuesday, December 31st. Next, at the bottom of the dialog box, we can set a reminder or designate the event as private. Using the mouse pointer, we'll turn off the reminder and then turn on the private box. In the Show Time As field, we'll click the drop-down arrow and select the Busy option. When we click on the Save and Close button, the new event is immediately placed in our appointment book. Let's click on the 27th. Notice along the top of the appointment book on this day, we see the event. Also, in our Date Navigator, we see the entire sales conference dates have been bolded. An event that occurs once a year, such as a birthday or a wedding anniversary, can be placed on the appointment book as an annual event. We open the Calendar menu and choose New Recurring Event. In the Appointment Recurrence dialog box, we can enter the information in the same way we did before. We'll click the Yearly option and make sure that the correct day is selected to the right. We click OK, enter a subject, then set a reminder and designate it as private. When we click on the Save and Close button, the annual event is immediately placed in the appointment book. Now, using the Date Navigator, we can see that the annual event is also placed on the same date in 1997. The Contacts feature is a convenient place to enter, manage, and track our personal and business contacts.
A contact can be anyone that we communicate with on a business or personal basis.
In this section, we'll learn how to add a contact using the Contacts icon, and we'll learn how to group and sort our contacts list. We'll return the appointment book to December 20th, 1996. To open the contacts list, we'll select the Contacts icon on the Outlook bar with the mouse pointer. We want to import another learning file. From the File menu, we'll select Import and Export. We now see the Import and Export wizard. We choose the import from a personal folder file and click Next. Using the Browse button, we locate our ViaGrafix Learning Files folder and double-click the contacts.pst file. We click Next, and in the Select the Folder to Import from box, we click on Contact. We click Finish, and the contact file is imported into Outlook97. We now see a list of business contacts. To create a new contact, we can click on the New Contact button from the toolbar and use the Contacts dialog box. Or we can enter the information directly to the Contacts lab. We click on Contact. A new empty business card will be displayed where we can enter the information of our new contact. In the Full Name field, we enter the full name of the new contact person. You can either follow along and enter the information as we do, or you can enter your own contact information. To the right of the Full Name field, we can enter a job title. We enter one and press Tab to place an insertion point in the company field. We type a company name and then we'll click to place an insertion point in the address field. We'll type an address. We can click on the drop-down arrow to the left of the address field to enter a home address or another address. We can now enter phone numbers for business, home, or business fax number, and also a mobile number if we have one. We'll enter a business number only. We can enter an email address and even a web page address. We'll enter an email address. In the Details tab, we can type detailed information about the new contact, such as the department they're working in, the office name, the manager's name, as well as any nicknames or even their spouse's name. When we are finished entering the information, we click the Save and Close button. The contact's name appears in the contacts list. Just as we did with the TaskPad list, we can also group and sort our contacts list into a variety of different categories. Let's open the View menu and then select Sort to bring up the Sort dialog box. In the first box, we can click on the down arrow button to select an item for organizing our contact list. We'll change this to First Name. In the second box, we'll follow the same steps to select Department. When we click on the OK button, the groups we selected are displayed in the contacts list.
You may pause the tape now.
Let's review what we have covered in this chapter.
We learned how to insert a new event and a new annual event into the appointment book.
Then we learned how to add a contact to the contacts list using the new Contact button.
And finally, we learned how to group and sort the contact list.
From the Meeting Planner tab, we can view the free and busy time for ourselves and other network users in order to determine the best time to schedule a meeting.
In scheduling with Outlook97, a meeting is an appointment which attendees have been invited.
To open the Meeting Planner, we'll click on the calendar icon. Now let's click the New Appointment button. In the New Appointment dialog box, we click the Meeting Planner tab. The Meeting Planner is used to quickly determine our free and busy time over several days. The vertical bars in the planner indicate a person or resource's busy time, while the time slots which have no vertical bars are called free time. To view a date far in the future, change the start time to the date you would like to see. The All Attendees list displays the people who have been scheduled to attend this meeting. We can click the Invite Others button to invite other people. At the Select Attendees and Resources dialog box, we'll click the drop-down arrow and select Contacts, if it is not already selected. We'll click the new contact we created earlier, Joe Smith. His name is added to the All Attendee list. Underneath the meeting time slots, we see Tentative, Busy, and Out of Office, each with different colored boxes. These color boxes let us know in the time slot table if the attendee can make it to the meeting or not, or if the meeting was scheduled on a holiday. For example, if we scroll to December 27th, we see the busy color displayed. Remember, we scheduled a sales conference during that weekend.
There are many ways to schedule a meeting. It can be done from a meeting planner tab or even the appointment dialog box, but the easiest way is by using the meeting request option.
To send a meeting request to another network user, the attendee must also use Microsoft Exchange, and both computers must be connected to a mail server. We can schedule a meeting from any of the View tabs by clicking on the envelope icon located to the left of the attendee's name. Next, we click New Meeting Request from the Appointment menu. We now see a New Meeting dialog box. This dialog box is just like the appointment boxes we have been working with. We click the To button to specify who to invite to this meeting. At the Select Attendees and Resources dialog box, we click the drop-down arrow and choose Contacts. Now we can select any of the contacts we want to attend the meeting. We select one and click the required button and then click OK. The contact is added to the To field. We type a subject in the Subject field, and we also type the location of the meeting in the Location field. Below the Location field, we can specify the start date and time and also the end date and time. The date and times that appear here are acceptable for us, so we click the Send button to send the invitation to the person we have selected. We can quickly schedule a meeting with someone in our contact list. In Contacts, click the Contact, then click New Meeting with Contact on the Contact menu. Now let's close any open dialog boxes and not save any changes. Now let's scroll the appointment book to see the new meeting.
When we schedule a meeting or respond to a meeting request, Outlook97 will automatically place it into our appointment book.
Let's review what we have covered in this chapter. In Chapter 5, we learned about the many options in the Meeting Planner tab.
We learned how to schedule a meeting using the meeting request option.
And finally, we learned how to send out a meeting request. We can use the print command to print out appointments, taskpad lists, and contact lists.
In fact, scheduling with Outlook provides a variety of layout choices and paper formats so that we can print only the information that we need in the format that's most convenient to us.
We'll select the Print button from the toolbar to open the Print dialog box. Then, in the Print Style box, we'll select the elements of our schedule that we want to print. With the mouse pointer, we'll choose the Daily option. Below the Print Style field, we see the Print Range section. Here we can select the starting date and duration of the schedule that we want to print. Let's click on the down arrow button and then select Friday, December 20th. Beside Print Style, we see the Page Setup button. This button allows us to view options where we can choose the correct paper size. We click the Page Setup button and see the Page Setup dialog box. Here we can select to include printing the task pad and notes we have entered in our notepad. We can also select time frames to print from. We'll leave everything here at its default setting. Next, let's click on the Print Preview button to open the Print Preview dialog box, which displays the page format we just specified. If we need a closer look, we can use the Zoom In button to magnify the image. Then when we've finished, we can click on Close to close the preview or the Print button to print the page. We click Close. Another important feature of scheduling with Outlook is the ability to change the default setting of a schedule file.
This allows us to customize our schedule to the way we work.
Let's open the Tools menu, then select Options. In the Options dialog box, we are given a variety of choices for our schedule. In the Calendar tab, we can select the day we want to appear as the first day of our week in the Date Navigator, and select the time that our workday begins and ends. We'll change the day in the first day of the week to Monday, and using the arrow buttons, we'll start our day at 6 o'clock a.m. and end our day at 3 o'clock p.m. Also, in the Calendar tab, we can select the appointment default reminder time. This will specify the amount of time before scheduled appointments with reminders appear. Since our office is small, we'll change the automatic appointment reminder time to 5 minutes. We can change the font size by clicking the Font button. We can also select the box next to Show Week Numbers. This will add the week number for the first year to the Date Navigator. Let's click the Time Zone button. Here we can identify a primary and secondary time zone for our scheduling. We'll leave the primary time zone on Central Time. To activate the secondary time zone, we click the Show an Additional Time Zone box. By clicking on the secondary time zone drop-down arrow button, we can scroll and select any time zone from around the world. Let's choose Pacific Time for the West Coast region. In addition to choosing a time zone, we can also change the current time and date and automatically adjust for daylight savings time. We click OK. To accept the new default settings, we click on the OK button. It is immediately obvious that the calendar window has changed. Notice now we have 2 different time areas in our appointment book. Finally, to quit the Outlook97 program, we open the File menu and then choose Exit and Log Off. This will close all of the Outlook97 windows, and any reminders that we have will no longer be displayed. Let's review what we have covered in this chapter. In Chapter 6, we learned how to preview and print an Outlook file.
Next, we learned how to customize the default settings using options in the Calendar Options dialog box.
Finally, we learned how to quit the Outlook97 program. We have finished the scheduling with the Outlook97 tutorial. Now we can remove the ViaGrafix learning folder using the following method. To delete the learning files from the hard drive, first right-click the Start button and open the Explorer. Next, highlight the ViaGrafix learning folder. Then press and hold the Shift key as we drag the folder to the recycle bin. Next, release the mouse, then the Shift key and our files are deleted. Finally, we'll close the Explorer and we'll return to the Windows 95 desktop. That concludes this video tutorial, Scheduling with Microsoft Outlook 97.
We've covered a lot of information in this tutorial. If you feel you need to review, simply rewind the tape and watch that section again until you're comfortable with the material.
If you have any questions or comments about our video tutorials, there are several ways to contact us. Our worldwide website is http://www.viagrafix.com. For comments on this video or any other ViaGrafix product, email us at admin@viagrafix.com. For sales questions or to place an order, send a message to sales@viagrafix.com. We at ViaGrafix would like to thank you for choosing our company for your computer training needs.
Remember, if you plan to learn about Outlook97 or any other computer software, there's no better way than through video training with ViaGrafix.